Assalamualaikum and good morning to all of the board of directors. Before we start, let me introduce myself. I am Aril Ikhwan Fikri from 1AM6 and today I'll be going to present to you all about the uses of gyroscope on an aircraft. Before we start, what is a gyroscope? Gyroscope, in simple term, is a device that is used to help maintain or detect the changes of orientation on a structure. Gyroscope is used in many branches in our daily life. Gyroscope consists of three main components. That is rotor, gimbals, and housing. The rotor is the heart and the main component of the gyroscope itself. It is made out of a heavy disc with a diameter ranging from 3 cm to 5 cm and rotates at a very high speed ranging from 5,000 revolution per minute to 55,000 revolution per minute. Next, the gyroscope got gimbals. The gimbals function is to hold the rotor so that the rotor can rotate freely in any direction. And lastly, the housing. It is used to mount the gyroscope on the plane for aircraft instruments use. So, here is an attachment of what does a basic gyroscope looks like. In the center, we got the rotor that is held by gimbals and outer housing. There is two main principles of gyroscope that makes it special. First one is rigidity. A high-speed spinning rotor will tend to stay at its original alignment. When the frame is rotated, the rotor will still pointing at the same direction and level. Rigidity can also be known as resistance because it follows the same rules like inertia. There are two main factors that affect rigidity, that is, rotor's mass and spinning velocity. There is an example video on the right showing rigidity property of the gyroscope. As you can see, the spinning rotor does not move. Only the gimbal and the housing move. The second principle is precession. Gyroscope react differently when a force is applied directly to the rotor rotation. When force is applied on the rotor, the resultant force will be exerted 90 degrees ahead of the rotation. Graphics on the left will help us understand more about the precession principle. Originally, the rotor spins stably on the horizontal axis, but when a force is exerted directly to the rotor will tilt downward. Because of the downward force, the force is transferred 90 degrees ahead of the rotation, thus making the downward force form 90 degrees ahead of the rotation. This continuous and simultaneous motion will result in the spinning motion of the whole gyroscope. The gyroscope will come to a stop due to the air resistance. Okay. This is a simple graphic that simply explains the precession concept. First, a force is exerted as what number 1 shows. Then, the rotation will somewhat transfer the force 90 degrees ahead of the rotation, and the reaction will result of the resultant force of the original force on the number 3 point. So now, I'll be explaining aircraft instrument that uses gyroscope to operate. The first one is altitude indicator. It uses the rigidity principle to determine aircraft orientation relative to the Earth horizon. Here is how it works. It contains a horizontally mounted gyroscope. If the aircraft performs a roll or a pitch, the gimbal will move but the rotor will stay. This alignment will be displayed directly on the screen to assist pilot controlling the aircraft. Next instrument that I'll be going to explain is the turn indicator. This instrument is used by the pilot to determine the rate of turn and the direction of turn. Here is how it works. When the plane turns, the gyro rotor also moves. This causes a force to be placed on the side of the rotor. Due to precession, the resultant force is formed 90 degrees ahead of the rotor rotation. This affects the rotor to rotate in the direction. The rotor is connected directly to the turn indicator needle. After the plane finishes the turn, spring tension will recover the orientation of the rotor. To conclude my presentation today, here is my conclusion. Basically, the uses of gyroscope can reduce pilot workload and increase the efficiency of flight. Gyroscope instruments are essential for aircraft system to help pilot control the aircraft and ensure the safety of passengers. That's all from me, Adil Ikhwan Fikri from 1AM6. Thank you for your attention.